morning or afternoon, depending on when you are looking up this very, very specific YouTube video. So turns out people really like learning how to reconcile random payments into their Xero, like the cash flow boost. We've had a few requests to show how we're actually dealing with JobKeeper. Now, we like to template the shit out of everything. So what we're going to be doing today is showing you not only why and how JobKeeper gets recorded in your organisation, but also we're going to provide you with a template on how to do it, which is available on our website, and show you how you can import it. All right, so we're going to go over two scenarios, which is both where you're a business, where you're an eligible business participant and you have no employees, and also the template when you do have employees, but you can also use that for this if you have employees and an eligible business participant, because JobKeeper isn't crazy enough. Right, so the first thing that you're going to do is under accounting, you're going to go into your chart of accounts and you're actually going to create a new account, which is going to be our JobKeeper income. Now, if you followed our previous video on the cash flow boost, it's going to be really similar. So the cash flow boost we created as account 299. Hi. Awesome.
What? Ooh.
That sounds like an awesome bike ride. I'm just helping the internet right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll come and chat to you in a sec, yeah? High five.
Is that a video?
It is. Cool.
Then you can't send that video.
Thank you. So the account type we're going to do here. Now, some accountants are saying to do this as like a negative expense, so it's offsetting wages and salaries. We're going to recommend not to do that, and the reason why is wages and salaries are actually a separate disclosure item on your tax return, which needs to agree with what you're submitting to the ATO. So we don't want to be offsetting that, even though it is wages and salaries subsidy. So we're saying other income. It's not normal income. But it is taxable income. So we are giving it the very specific account number of 298, and there's a reason why. Use this account number, you can change it later, but for your import it needs to be 298 or it's not going to work. JobKeeper wage subsidy. Okay, now JobKeeper is BAS excluded. This is not a GST supply. You've done nothing in terms of GST suppliers of products or services to receive this payment, so it's BAS excluded. It is taxable, which is why we're not writing tax-free. So hit save, and we're going to show you the import-export. So on our website, it won't look exactly like this for you. You can pick one of these two templates. I'm going to show you the eligible participant one first, and then I'm actually going to import this one here for the employers. What we've done is, for all of our clients, we have created this account automatically, JobKeeper 298, other income, BAS excluded. Then for an eligible business participant, let's see what we've got here. So many Excel files. This is our template. It's pretty simple. Importing it into Xero, we've got a few key fields. We've got the ATO as the contact name. We're creating 13 separate invoices. The reason we're doing that is these are actually going to align into the JobKeeper payment fortnights. Okay? Because we want to be offsetting the exact time when we're making those payments, and we want it to be showing up so your profit and loss isn't skewed by when you receive the income. We want it lining up to the time that you have to make those payments. Okay? Reference is going to be all of these JobKeeper periods, because let's be honest, it gets a bit hard to follow them up. The invoice date. Every JobKeeper period runs from, it's a 2-week period, and we have got the invoice date being the last day in that JobKeeper period. Okay? Now the due date, what we've done is we've guesstimated your monthly reporting is due on the 7th of the following month. Okay, so all of your April payments, so JobKeeper periods 1 and 2, that's all due. Okay, forget the transitional stuff, probably a bad example, but theoretically, if you'd set this up from March, it would have been due on the 7th of May. and payments start flowing after you've done that monthly reporting. So we've just picked the 10th of the following month as a bit of an arbitrary date of when we expect JobKeeper payments might be coming in. Could be before, could be after. It's going to be different for everyone, and let's be honest, the pandemic never happened before. A little bit playing in the crazy here. All right, the total for the eligible business participant for each fortnight is $1,500. So that's why we have these amounts here. The description that's going to come into the invoice, eligible business participant, quantity of 1, $1,500. This is why we have the 298. Okay, that's going to our JobKeeper account. All right, now that's what you do if there's just one person. But Sarah, I've got 11 employees, actually 10, including one eligible business participant. That's when we're going to use this template invoices for JobKeeper. Have a look at this. That's a lot of line items. Now, the reason why we're doing this is if an employee resigns during the JobKeeper period, they'll no longer be an eligible employee, and you will no longer be receiving JobKeeper. So we actually, for our clients, want to be able to track for every invoice if we are continuing to get JobKeeper in relation to who. Because JobKeeper relates to a person or an employee or an eligible business participant. So that's important for us to follow. So let's look at this format again. Whoops. From the ATO, these are all our formats. So from the ATO, this is relating to an invoice number, JobKeeper 7, JobKeeper 6, okay? Last date, again, being the last date of the JobKeeper fortnight. Our arbitrary, hopefully we'll get it on the 10th of the next month. Now this amount is the total that we are expecting. In our worked example here, we have said we have 11 people. So I'll show you what this looks like. This template, that is 10 invoice that you're going to be importing, and it's going to have 11 line items on there. And the total is going to be 16,500. So what we're doing for our clients, now bearing in mind as well, each unit amount, 1,500 here, okay? See how we've got E1, E2, E3? What we're doing find and replace. So let's do replace here. So I want to find E11 and I want to replace it with, okay. Okay, replace all. Made 13 replacements. Great. Actually, you know what? Let's do a couple more. Okay, now, one trick with this, if you do E1 first, considering this template has E10 and E11, it's not going to work properly. Start with E11 and work your way back, unless you're going to be deleting lines, because if you have more than 10 and you do a find and replace on E1, it's going to replace E10 and 11 as well. Just in case you're not familiar with how that works, but you can do match. Okay, so let's do E10 and let's say Samwise Gamgee, and this is where you all see what a giant nerd I am, but that should have been pretty obvious before this. Okay, E9. Let's do getting lazy now. Okay. And this might be a time where you go, what happens if we don't have that many employees? Okay. It's quite simple. What you do is just sort by the description, delete the excess. So if you only have up to employee 6, delete all the lines. Do a sort, delete everything E7 and below, done, right? Then just change this total. So if you've only got 7 people, equals 7 times 1,500, 1050, update it here, do 1050 here as well, and just pull that all the way down, okay? Now, I'm not going to show that right now. I'm assuming a passable knowledge of Excel. If not, put it in the comments and I can do another video randomly. All right. I'm not going to fill that all out. You get the idea. I'm going to save this now. Template invoices for JobKeeper, number 1. Okay. Great. Now, what do we do with it? Now, in our Xero, you can see we've already added account 298. Great. So when I go to business invoices, most people don't even notice this in their Xero organization. There's an import button. Da, 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 da. Having now used that template, you don't have to change any of this. Just go browse. Try to make it as easy as possible. Take your template, import. Great, 13 new draft invoices. Now, if you have created your JobKeeper account and it isn't 298, what's going to happen is when you go to bulk approve all of these invoices, it's not going to work. All of the information that I've got on that spreadsheet, as you can see, is now sitting here. Fantastic. But we're not actually going to go into them one by one. What we would recommend is actually you can either, if you're an eligible business participant, approve them all. That's fine. Once you're in, you're in. If you're not, or you think there's a chance that some of your, or rather if you think there's a chance that your employees might not continue on with you for whatever reason, maybe don't approve them all because you're going to have to edit them. Just have them sitting there as draft. And then as you go, you can approve them. All right, I'm just going to bulk approve these first ones. Okay. Now, what does that look like in our profit and loss? Okay, so this month, let's look at last month. This is going to align then. We're going to have JobKeeper wage subsidy aligning with all of the JobKeeper periods. So in theory, if you have a weekly or a fortnightly payroll and you've been making those payments, that's going to offset that. And so your profit isn't going to have these big lumpy things depending on when you actually receive the JobKeeper subsidy by using these invoices. But how do you reconcile it? Glad you asked. So I've gone to... The tricky thing when we were designing this is, do we do it based on when the payment dates are, or do we do it based on the JobKeeper fortnights? And we decided, right, it's going to add a little bit more complexity, but makes more sense when we look at financials if we actually align everything with JobKeeper fortnights. So what we've done here, in our demo, we've said on the 10th of May, the ATO has now reimbursed this business $33,000, which is the total amount for 2 JobKeeper periods. We think it would be pretty easy to work this out because, let's be honest, it's not that often the ATO just hands you chunks of cash every month, right? And so what we want you guys to do is now, you can see here we've got our JobKeeper periods, see what the amounts are and match it off with the appropriate JobKeeper periods, 1 and 2, that's reimbursement, 10th of May. You can see these dates are those last dates of the JobKeeper fortnights, and hit OK. And done. That's the easiest way to account for your JobKeeper payments. Look, you can cash code it to an account, JobKeeper payments on your profit and loss, but we actually think this is good because then it gives you a sense as well of when that income's going to potentially be coming in as well. All right, if you have any questions, just leave us a note in the comments because apparently people watch niche accounting videos. Thank you. And you can download these templates on the Bramble and Briar website. So www, not that many of them, Bramble, let's see if we've Googled anything weird. Okay, we have our website under templates and tools. Now these are all free templates. We've already created them, we use them for our clients, and you can just download them here. Great, all right, good luck.